There's a side to the American South that most people never see. If you look past the charming mansions and the Spanish moss, you'll find something much darker. A place where history and the supernatural are tangled together in the most unsettling ways. A place where the past is never really gone, and the line between the living and the dead is terrifyingly thin. Tonight, we'll explore the most haunted places in the South and the stories that have made it a hotbed for paranormal activity. A region where the past is never forgotten and where you are never, ever truly alone. Our first stop is a city that some claim is the most haunted in the entire country, Savannah, Georgia. There's a good reason for it. The city is literally built on top of its own dead. When you walk its historic streets, you can feel a certain weight in the air, the sheer pressure of all the tragedy that's taken place there. The city has endured countless battles, horrific fires, and deadly plagues, all of which have left a permanent stain. It's because of this history that so many believe its restless spirits are still walking among the living. One of the most active locations is the Marshall House, one of Savannah's oldest hotels, which first opened its doors in 1851. It's haunted. Reputation was cemented during the Civil War, when it was commandeered by the Union Army and used as a field hospital. During the brutal winters, the ground was frozen completely solid. This created a gruesome problem. With no way to bury the amputated limbs from countless surgeries, they had to be disposed of somewhere, so they were hidden right beneath the floorboards of the hotel. While official hotel records deny any bones were found during later renovations, the chilling story refuses to go away to this day. Guests and staff tell stories, too many to count. They report seeing the apparitions of soldiers wandering the halls, men with missing limbs. One of the most disturbing claims is the sight of a man walking through the hotel, carrying his own severed arm. Then there is the smell, a sudden, overwhelming stench of decay that materializes out of nowhere, a grim reminder of the hotel's gruesome past. And it isn't just soldiers. On the fourth floor, people hear the distinct sounds of children laughing and running. They even hear the sound of marbles rolling across the hardwood floor. When no children are there, just a short walk away, the Moon River Brewing Company has its own dark reputation. After being investigated by multiple paranormal teams, its spectral residents have become known for being more aggressive. Staff and customers have reported bottles being violently thrown from shelves by a force they cannot see. Dark, shadowy figures are known to appear suddenly in the gloom of the basement, only to vanish moments later. In Savannah, you learn quickly that the city's tragic past is always watching. We now travel deep into Louisiana to a place that looks like a postcard from the old South, the Myrtles Plantation in St. Francisville. It's a beautiful home, framed by sprawling oak trees. But behind its charm lies a story of profound pain, and some say vengeance. While many dark tales are tied to this place, the most famous is the legend of a woman named Chloe. Chloe was an enslaved woman on the plantation, owned by Judge Clark Woodruff. As the story goes, she was caught eavesdropping and was brutally punished for it. To try and win back their favor, she baked a birthday cake, but she added a small amount of poison from the oleander plant, just enough to make the family sick, so she could nurse them back to health and be seen as a hero. But the plan went catastrophically wrong. The judge's wife and his 2 children ate the cake and died It said the other enslaved people, terrified of the judge's retribution, dragged Chloe from the house to a nearby tree and hanged her. This story has turned the plantation into a paranormal landmark. Here's where the story gets strange. Historical records show no one named Chloe ever lived on the plantation, and official records state the family died not from poison, but from yellow fever. But facts don't stop the sightings. To this day, visitors capture what they believe is her spirit in photographs, a shadowy figure of a woman wearing a green turban, standing on the veranda. They also report hearing the ghostly laughter of children, believed to be the spirits of the two dead Woodruff kids. Then there's the story of William Winter, a lawyer who owned the home and was shot on the front porch. Mortally wounded, he staggered back inside the house, collapsing and dying on the 17th step of the main staircase. And it seems his final desperate moments are replayed over and over again. Staff and guests report hearing unexplained footsteps climbing the stairs, only to stop suddenly, always on the 17th step. Myrtles Plantation is a place where tragic stories refuse to die, terrifying anyone who dares to visit. Up in the Ozark Mountains of Arkansas, there's a picturesque town called Eureka Springs, home to the grand 1886 Crescent Hotel. But its past is anything but picturesque. While it was built as a luxury resort, the hotel's most sinister chapter began in the 1930s. It ceased being a luxury resort and became a hospital. This hospital was run by a man named Norman Baker. He wasn't a doctor. He was a con man. Baker was a millionaire who lured desperate cancer patients with the promise of a miracle cure. In reality, his cures were nothing but fake, agonizing potions. When his patients inevitably died, he wouldn't inform their families. He would lie, telling them they were cured and had simply gone home. He then took their bodies to a makeshift morgue in the basement and disposed of them in secret. In 2019, the proof of his crimes was finally unearthed. An archaeological dig on the property uncovered hundreds of bottles filled with his so-called potions and preserved medical specimens, a final grim testament to his horrific scam. The Crescent is often called America's most haunted hotel, and for good reason. It's believed the spirits of Baker and his victims never left. People report seeing Baker's own ghost, while others see the apparition of a nurse pushing a gurney down the halls in the dead of night. Room 218 is particularly active. It's believed to be haunted by a stonemason named Michael, who fell to his death during the hotel's construction. Guests who stay in that room report the door slamming shut by itself, followed by the terrifying sound of a man screaming as he falls. But the most profoundly disturbing activity is concentrated in the hotel's old morgue. It's claimed that a portal exists in the very spot where Baker kept his autopsy table. People who stand in that exact location report a sudden, overwhelming feeling of dread and the distinct sensation of being touched by cold, unseen hands. The apparitions of former patients are said to appear here, their faces twisted in agony. The Crescent Hotel is a monument to suffering, where the spirits of the tormented seem to be trapped within its walls forever. So far, we've talked about haunted buildings, but what happens when an entire town becomes haunted? That's the story of Cahawba, Alabama. Once the state's thriving capital, it was wiped out by constant flooding and the Civil War. Eventually, everyone left, It became a true ghost town, with nothing but ruins and cemeteries left behind, now preserved as the old Cahawba Archaeological Park. The most famous story from Cahawba is the legend of Pega's ghost. In 1862, as a couple strolled through a garden maze on the estate of Colonel C.C. Pegas, they saw something they couldn't explain, a strange, glowing ball of light, just hovering in the middle of the maze. A short time later, news arrived. Colonel Pegas had been killed in battle at that very moment. Skeptics dismissed the light as simple swamp gas, a natural occurrence. But to see it right at the moment of the man's death, it's a coincidence that's hard to ignore. He is not the only soul said to be trapped here. In the town's new cemetery, visitors report hearing disembodied voices, whispers that seem to be carried on the wind. Others have seen dark, shadowy figures darting between the old tombstones, as if trying not to be seen. There's even a local legend of a statue known as the Weeping Angel that has been seen crying real tears. Cahawba is a haunting place that feels as though an entire community's spirit simply refused to move on. Our final story comes from South Carolina. It's a tragic story of forbidden love and a ghost who is said to be still searching for something that was stolen from her. This is the legend of Alice Flagg in 1849. Alice was a young woman living at her family home, the Hermitage. She fell deeply in love with a local lumberman, a man considered far beneath her social standing. Her brother, Dr. Alice Flagg, strictly forbade the relationship, but Alice was secretly engaged. She kept the ring her lover gave her hidden, tied to a ribbon she wore around her neck. To separate them, her brother sent her away to a boarding school in Charleston. While there, she became deathly ill with malaria. As she lay unconscious and dying, her brother discovered the ring. In a fit of rage, he ripped the ribbon from her neck and hurled the ring into a nearby marsh. Alice soon died, many said, from a broken heart. She was buried beneath a simple marble slab marked only with her first name, Alice, but her story wasn't over. People say her spirit returned to the Hermitage. For more than a century, visitors have reported seeing the apparition of a young woman in a white dress wandering the grounds in the cemetery where she's buried. Her head is always bowed, her eyes fixed on the ground, as if she is still searching for the ring she lost. To this day, visitors to her grave leave rings and other trinkets, small offerings made in the hope of finally bringing peace to her heartbroken spirit. From war-torn hospitals to haunted plantations, the American South is a landscape steeped in tragic history. A history so intense it seems to have left an imprint, a spiritual stain that cannot be washed away. These stories are more than just local legends. They are chilling reminders that some places are forever marked by the pain of the past. And for anyone who dares to visit these locations, they serve as a warning that the past is never truly gone and you are never, ever alone. If tonight's tale sent shivers down your spine, don't wander off just yet. Hit subscribe to join the Haunting Shadow Stories family, where every week the darkness deepens with new chilling encounters and true ghost stories. Smash that like button if you survived till the end, and summon your own ghostly experience in the comments below.